I'm in LA in this studio filming webinars, filming videos for you. Even as I'm here, I'm still trading. The overall market is a little weak, but the small cap market is exploding. So in this video, I'm gonna go over not one, not two, not three, but nearly a dozen supernovas. Stocks that are up 100, 200, 300, even 500% on the day. Even after I finish this video, RSLS spiked 700% after hours. Like, it's crazy right now, and I want you to capitalize, taking small profits along the way, okay? I want you to really understand the crazy upside in a hot market, but you have to be prepared. These stocks move fast. So watch this video once, twice, three times, watch it a bunch of times, start to learn how fast these stocks move and see what my upcoming challenge students are doing to capitalize. Click the link below, join my challenge, okay? Every single day we're in a chat. I'm giving weekly webinars. My millionaire students are giving weekly webinars. You have the whole archive of webinars, DVDs and video lessons. This is the time to push it with your education. Study up, leave a comment below. Let me know what lessons you learned from this. And congratulations, the market is amazing. I hope you capitalize. All right, what's up? Tim Sykes here. Really good market, lots of runners. I had a nice roughly $2,000 day today, now roughly 10 grand in the past week. It's preparation meeting opportunity, okay? Every single person watching this, leave a comment underneath, say preparation meeting opportunity, because most people are unprepared when there are days like today. I just congratulated a whole bunch of students. I'm here in this studio in LA. Eric just confirmed, I mean, WTF, this is a big runner. And literally this was his strategies. He says, anytime a ticker IPOs with a cool acronym comes out, he's on it. He remembers HUGE. So he only put in roughly 12 grand, a little over 12 grand, 13 grand into WTF, and he sold it in the 12s. And you might say like, wow, he just nailed it. WTF is in the 16s now. So it's gone up another $4 a share. And this is what happens in this market. It's just crazy. The numbers are all off. No one understands what's going on. The short sellers are getting squeezed. But WTF is one. But look at all these students, okay? Raminga nailed GRI in the 875s to the 10s. I nailed GRI too, but look at what happened with GRI. The NASDAQ is barely up on the day, which is interesting that there's so many squeezes. GRI went from 3 up to 11, now back down to the 2s. They did a financing, okay? So whenever you look at these plays and you wonder why can they spike so quick, it's because it's a short squeeze. But if they do a financing, these things can drop hard. And you can see here, they did a financing. The stock was already down to the 5s when they announced the financing, but it dropped even more. I don't care. Some people might say, Tim, how do you make money on a long on GRI? It's down 27%. It's not about where it ends up on the end of the day. It matters where you take profits. And this is why I always sell into strength. This was my trade earlier today. I said partial fill. First of all, I tried to get 2,000 shares. It was spiking so fast, I only got a partial fill. But biotech spiker with solid news, forgive me for the typos, like I was trying to type very quickly. Could be fast given action breaking news. Always risk of a financing too, but action looks solid, so let's see how far it could go. And this was literally just a few minutes, and I got it in the 7s, sold it in the 9s. It hit a high of the 11s. So even though I made over $1 a share, I left like $1.50 a share from it, but then you can see it's just, you know, waterfalling, crashing down. So this was a great way to start the day for me on GRI. You know, I had that great play on MYSZ. First of all, congrats to everybody on MYSZ. MYSZ, same kind of thing. They didn't do a financing, I don't think, but they crashed. I don't care what MYSZ did after I was out. I was buying it, where was it? On the dip here in the 150s and 160s. Okay, this was an earnings winner. It got up to the 2s, I sold. I was like, I'm out. Monday morning was actually a good over the weekend trade. It got all the way up to 3. Then it collapses. I want you to remember this. Buying a stock with an earnings win, with a contract win, some new positive catalyst, selling at 2, I don't regret it. I locked in $2,000 on Friday, had no weekend risk. You also have to understand part of the reason why I sold was because the overall market was so weak. I said it in the video lesson, if you watched it, reviewing that trade, if the market had been stronger, I would have held over the weekend. And frankly, you know, I don't know if I would have held till 3, but I might have held to like the low or mid twos and sold into this spike. Probably would have sold all by 250 because this is best case scenario. But this is a short squeeze. How do you know it's a short squeeze? How do you know how many shorts are in a stock? You don't. But you can tell after the fact because when you get this solid uptrending, this is a classic 1, 2, 3 pattern for my 7-step framework, and then you get this giant supernova, guess what? Dip buys have not been working. So you have to be on the front side of this. Whether you sell too soon like I did at 2, whether you nail it more in the mid 2s or the low 3s, there's so much opportunity here, okay? ICCT, if you go through my student trades today, so many winners, whether it's IC Squirrel, Pelazzini, Love from Buenos Aires, they're all buying ICCT in the 2s, in the 3s. ICCT came up from, this is crazy, from what, 30 cents yesterday, 26 cents just the other day. But it started spiking and it's a short squeeze. I saw a few chat rooms buying it. You have to understand, like, why would a short seller short this stock? Obviously, you know, if the shorts knew that it was going to go from 40 cents to $5, they wouldn't short it. But the short sellers are the ones who are creating this kind of squeeze. Because chat rooms are buying it and short sellers are like, no, this is just a chat pump, it's going to crash. So many shorts were all over this. They thought that this was the top here in the 2s. Yesterday afternoon, it was fading, actually got all the way down to the 1s. Today is just a straight up short squeeze. It's very choppy, but look how it's hugging the VWAP, especially right here. I want you to pay close attention. I know in previous years I didn't use the VWAP. I use it now religiously. Right at the open, it tries to break. The shorts try to, you know, you can call it whatever you want. It's a bear raid where they try to push it down and it comes down, cracks the VWAP for a little bit and then absolutely squeeze. So between 9:30 a.m., look how fast this is. This is right at 9:30 a.m. It's at $3. 9:38, 8 minutes later, it's at $5. $2 a share near the open, okay? I didn't trade that. I was dealing with GRI at the time, but this is how fast it is. You gotta lock in profits along the way, and I'm glad. What is ICCT gonna do? You know, by the time you watch this, it'll probably have like an MYSC chart, MYSZ, where, you know, you have the giant short squeeze and it'll fade eventually. If I was a short seller though, I would be scared because you don't know how high it's gonna go in the meantime. Remember MLGO, this is the supernova that really ignited all of these spikers because when one stock goes full on supernova, all the shorts are scared. The shorts are like on their back foot right now. And MLGO went from the 2s all the way up to 33 today. This actually had a nice morning panic down to 17 and a bounce up to 24. So $7 a share on the bounce on that morning panic. It's been a while since we've seen some great morning panics, but it's tough to trade it when it's up so much. Even ICCT, I wouldn't be chasing it here, but there was great opportunity earlier in the day, especially near the open. CSAI also was great near the open. Look how beautiful it is. It's hugging the VWAP. This is an earnings winner. It spikes up. Right here, they announce the earnings and it's spiking up, but look at it holding the VWAP, 10:30 a.m., 11 a.m. And then really, like some people say, Tim, just trade the first hour and the last hour of the trading day. The best run up here was 11 a.m. to noon, okay? This hour, which is normally no man's land, it goes from 7 to 11, 50% with no real downtrend. But again, you can see this is the front side of the move. Once it goes full on supernova into the 11s, you get a little fade. And then once it cracks the VWAP, it's just straight down, okay? So I want you to understand, and no question, like they're doing a prospectus, they're trying to raise more money. This is what these companies do. They spike up, whether it's earnings, whether it's a contract, whether it's a chat pump, whatever the case may be, they're trying to get the stock up so that they can raise money. Okay, you might want to say, look, it's a pump and dump. Are pump and dumps legal? I'm not a lawyer. I don't question what's legal, what's illegal, what's gray area. I just trade the price action. And CSAI was one where, you know, I didn't take a huge position and I didn't take a huge piece of the move, but I made another $1,000, okay? And for me, I was buying it in the 7s and I was dip buying it a little off of its highs. And frankly, I should have bought in the 6s. I thought that I was chasing it a little bit in the 7s, but I said, you know, this could make new highs. This was at 11:09 a.m. I didn't know that when I bought it that I was at the beginning of, this awesome run up. I bought it, where was it? Like right in here. So it had already hit 760 and I'm getting it on a little dip in here. Okay, so my entry isn't that great at 736. I'm only getting like a dip of like 30-40 cents a share, but I think that it can run. And it looks funny that I thought that I was chasing it now given how much it went up, but it went up here to the 8s and I thought that was amazing. I had no idea that it was going to go to the 11s. And now you look at it in the 5s, it's barely up. But this is the momentum game in which we deal. And I was happy to make the $1 a share. And look at this, like the oil field says you made over $1 a share in this market, that's great. There was $4 a share of upside. What was the high? 11.45. Yeah, so $4 a share of upside and I took $1 a share. This is what I've been doing for 20 plus years, guys. Okay? So when you look at like the $8 million that I've made or the 10,000 that I've made now in the past week, I'm just taking a piece of the move. Very, very rarely do I take more than a quarter or a third of the move. I usually sell too soon. But as you see, it's good to be safe. People wonder, why am I so cowardly? GRI, I made over $1 a share, which was fantastic. Like you see this, when I make a trade, I say goals to make 10 to 20%. I made 16%, the midpoint of my goal. Why am I so cautious? GRI went up to the 11s. Why am I so cautious? Because look at what GRI did afterwards, okay? They did do the financing that I was scared of, and now it's a $2 stock. Imagine if I had gone aggressive. Imagine if I didn't take profits into strength. Imagine if I'm holding it all the way down and I'm like, no, this has to come back. The market's wrong. The market is never wrong. And I'm telling you, 20 plus years has taught me you trade cowardly, you take a piece of the move, you don't look back. Short sellers will say, Tim, there is much more downside on the short. Fantastic. Good luck with that, okay? I would say if you are a short seller, yeah, you got it right this time because they did the financing and that's what dropped the stock, but you don't know how high it's going to go, okay? Let's not forget, WTF is just up because of the funny ticker. CSAI went all the way up to the 11s. Let's not forget RGC. You might remember RGC, I was buying it in the 12s a few days ago, okay? This thing went all the way up to 70. I actually took a loss on it. I bought it in the high 12s and I sold it in the low 12s. I didn't think it could get back to the 13s. It went up to 70. So anytime you're tempted to short, remember RGC. And this is up on thin air. This is just a short squeeze. MLGO, same kind of thing. You want to short it anytime during this 2-week period, you're wrong. So again, my best lesson, and this is why I'm so proud of all these students, take profits along the way, try to ride them as long as you can. Not everyone is gonna be able to hold, for $24,000 like Eric just did, but this is what's possible. And he only invested $12,000. So some people think, oh, you and your millionaire students, you make so much because you're betting so much and you bet so big. Not all of us bet so big. If you look at my trades, I'm buying $8,000 positions and I'm making like $1,000, okay? If you look at how I made 10,000 in the past week, my average trading size is roughly like 10 grand. So I'm trying to make 10, 15, 20% on these plays, 1,000, 1,500. On MYNZ, this was probably my best trade of the month. And I made what? 21%. So you can trade these volatile stocks cowardly. You don't have to hodl. You don't have to go for home runs. You can still make millions taking single after single. This is the best lesson that I can teach you guys. So I'm glad I'm giving you a live webinar too as I'm filming this in the challenge. Throw out any questions you guys have, challenge students. We have 10 minutes until we're going to be joined by this new millionaire student. Let's see. I'm going to answer questions live for you guys. Why do stocks spike when news of a company investigation comes out? Because again, it's a short squeeze, okay? Short sellers are betting on financings. Short sellers are betting on investigations. Short sellers are betting on lower prices. But sometimes if the financing is at a better price than shorts expect, or if the investigation has no impact on the stock, the shorts get squeezed. When a short gets squeezed, they have to buy to cover. That means they're gonna buy the stock. When they have to buy the stock, it pushes the stock higher, okay? So none of these companies are good. MLGO, this will be in the single digits in the next few weeks, months, I don't know, okay? ICT, it's not gonna hold $4 a share. In the next few months, it's probably gonna drop under $1 a share again. Shorts aren't wrong fundamentally. These companies are junk. The reason why I don't short sell anymore, especially in this market, is you don't know how high these stocks will go. A lot of shorts are shorting WTF. They're like, oh, WTF, this stock shouldn't be up this much. It's just up because of the ticker. Yes, so what? Okay? There's a lot of NFTs that spiked big. There's a lot of meme coins, a lot of cryptos that spiked big. There was a meme coin called Fart Coin, which became a multi-billion-dollar coin. I don't know if you guys know this, right? Fart Coin price. It's dropped now. It's still a ridiculous, 50 cents a share. The market cap is still 500 million, okay? So think about this, but once upon a time, this thing came from what? 0.00005 cents, got all the way up to $2 a share. This is what can happen with penny stocks. Fart Coin isn't even a real thing. It's just funny, like, oh, I bought Fart Coin, okay? That's the market these days. I would not short sell because you just don't know how high these things can go. And many of you are starting with small accounts, so you can't outlast a short squeeze. I know. Many of my millionaire students are short biased. I personally have made millions shorting. But if you're starting right now, I would not short sell. There's much better odds of taking singles like this, where students like Eric, and Eric confirmed this, that he made $24,000 on WTF. Why? Because he remembers HUGE. All it takes is one good trade, and then you rinse and repeat, and you're like, okay, I remember this rule, let me try it again. So whether it's GRI, whether it's WTF, whether it's ICCT, BIAF was also fantastic. Look at WTF. It's breaking out to new highs. Hold on, let me tell the chat room. This is a short squeeze. Terry Float just made $1.50 on WTF. Let's see. Can you talk us through how you work out a position size relative to the volume the stock has traded? Well, you have to understand, I trade with a small account, okay? I like showing you guys that you can trade with small dollar amounts. I mean, right now I've sized down, but if you look at my trades, I mean, even MYNZ, I added to it, and I'm taking what? Like a $10,000 position. So most of my positions are small because I want you to understand that, you can still bank. But you guys have to understand, like, I could take 10 times the position size, and I could be like, look at me, I'm making, instead of making $2,000 a day, I'm making 20 grand a day. That would be good, but it would set the wrong example for you. And frankly, I'm traveling while trading. I'm not great at short squeezes. This is probably like my weakest pattern. And yet I've still adapted. If you go back to old video lessons from like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I'm like, here's another short squeeze. This is why I'm not shorting. But I wasn't really profiting that well off of them. So when you look at my trades like on MYSZ or GRI or CSAI, this is not my go-to pattern. So I'm adapting, trying to take advantage, but this is what you can do. Maybe you're just beginning, maybe you're not great at short squeezes, so you take small size. And small size can be different for everybody. Small size for me is like a $10,000 position. Small size for you might be a $500 position. So you have to try to understand why I would size up, why I size down. But I'm very happy. Again, go through my videos over 20 plus years, 2K a day keeps the real job away. So I think that that's this kind of a market where you can try to capitalize on these spikers. Like, keep everything in perspective. Like Gary, again, made $24,000 on this trade, which is fantastic. And he sold in the 12s. He made $8 a share. The stock is now in the 19s. He missed out on $7 a share. He still made $8 a share. So he took roughly half the potential profits. There is so much opportunity. It's stupid because of short sellers. okay? These are not good companies. These stocks are not long-term holds. They are short-term short squeezes. And you try to ride them as much as you can, whether Eric holds it for $8 a share or who just had one? Terry Float just made $1.50 a share. It's up to you, okay? There's no one right way to trade these. Dollar amount wise, position wise, you're just trying to take a piece of the move. And today, when you have so many runners, like WTF is one, GRI is one, ICCT is one. I didn't even bring up a chart of BIAF, right? BIAF was beautiful. Very nice breakout here above $1 a share. You can see here, 10:42 a.m. top. Again, kind of no man's land at 1 p.m. Why are these stocks spiking at 11 a.m. and like 1 p.m. when normally in the past I would never buy at these no man land times? Because it's a short squeeze, okay? Shorts are the key to all of these spikes right now. And whether you miss that initial breakout at 1 and it goes to 150, I mean, this is literally buying the stock at 1:10 p.m., selling it 40 minutes later, you make 50% on your money. 50% on your money, just for some comparisons, if you try to do that in a mutual fund or a hedge fund, that's like 2 or 3 years. This is an hour, okay? Obviously, this is best case scenario, it comes down, but even if you miss the initial breakout, but you recognize that $1 a share is a key level, it comes back down to $1 a share, and it bounces here to 120. This doesn't look like much on the chart. This is a 20% return. That's a good year for a mutual fund or hedge fund. You know, that's 2 years of people saying, oh, the S&P 500 earns 10% per year. I think that's good. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke what you can do with a small account with these volatile stocks. Obviously, it's different where if you invest in a mutual fund or hedge fund or the overall market, you can invest millions, you can invest billions, and it's not going to impact this. These stocks are good for small positions. But you can take whatever position size you want. If you look at the big percent gainers today, RSLS has traded 240 million shares, okay? So let's say you're not a beginner trader. Let's say you have millions. You could have easily bought 1 million shares and not impacted the price. BIAF has traded 484 million shares. You could have bought 5 million shares and still been less than 1% of today's volume. So recognize the upside, recognize the volume. Those are the two most liquid stocks. But like even WTF, which, you know, is in the 19s, and it wouldn't surprise me if this thing goes to the 20s, you know, this thing has traded 16 million shares, okay? This thing is trading hundreds of millions of dollars today. That's the market that we're in. It won't always be this hot. But days like today, students like this, congrats to all of you. And, you know, I could go on. This is basically probably like a quarter, maybe a fifth of the students just in chat who say how much they made. And many people don't like to talk about it. You know, like Sean, 95, made 14K in MLG. Anyways, I got to get back to this webinar. We have a new millionaire student coming on. Lock in singles. Capitalize, capitalize, capitalize. Ride the hype. Just never believe it. That's today's lesson. Let me know how you did in the comments below.